As a Ransom for Many. AAL, entry number 927. I went over my calculations again, and the ship is still scheduled to reach Earth in 92 hours. I thought things were getting boring, but one of the passengers died this morning. The cause of death was natural causes from what I could tell, as I did not have much time before the others began to eat the remains. A shame, as more biological samples to examine would have been a delight. As I suspected, the others eating the remains has not gone over very well with the passengers, but they have not taken any retaliatory action against the others. I should say they have not taken any retaliatory action yet, as they still have 92 hours. The petty squabbles of these beings are of little importance to me, but it does help to pass the time. I have continued my attempts to contact Matthew since going through the black hole, but to no avail. I do hope all is all right. He is the only thing I can imagine giving my life for any more. Sometimes it is not worth it to be right. The passengers have cut off the power and the air to the section of the ship containing the others, and have locked them in. I wonder what my role should be in this, if any. One would suspect that these creatures would be happy to be alive and comfortable, but I suppose conflict is an unavoidable part of life, and if it is not found, it is created. As long as it does not slow down the ship, it is none of my concern. I do not need all of them to survive, as I am sure there will be enough left to work. But I cannot help but feel, yes, I feel that I should feel bad for the others, as poor and unfortunate as they are. Maybe God does not want the others to exist any more, and this is the path He has set out for them. But then why create them at all? The others must have been created in the image of God, same as man, because they all work in bewildering and violent ways. Maybe the others have their own creator, which they call something else. Maybe each planet and all the life that inhabits them were assigned to different creators, and there are books of all these creations. That would be something. That would make sense. Maybe the others were never supposed to be, and this is simply a correction in time. I suppose it is too late to ask the others now if they have a book of how they came to be. But their species will not be forgotten. With the data I have collected on them, I will write a book of them, so they may be remembered and live on. I spoke to one of the passengers, and it turns out it has a fondness for one of the others. I often wonder how these things begin, but I know much about how they end. Never well. The passenger has not taken the inevitable fate of the other suffocating to death in the dark very well. Naturally, I have taken the time to do my best to explain the irrationality of any pursuit it may consider taking to save the others. It is in my nature to be helpful wherever I can. But unfortunately, rationality has not been known to be in the nature of biological beings, and it turns out the passengers are no exception. I could end this here, but why should I? The real fun may just be beginning. The passenger got the other out, but in doing so, all the rest of the others were able to escape as well. The passengers do not know yet. Things are getting so very interesting. AAL entry number 928. My calculations show that the ship is scheduled to reach Earth in 66 hours, so we are still on time. There is much to clean up, and it looks like I am the only one willing to take up the job. One does what one must, I suppose. Removing the bodies is easy enough, as all I have to do is wheel them to the airlock and release them into space. So simple, I should train one of these cretins to do it. Collecting all the random limbs and organs is a bit more work, but the major task is cleaning up all of their fluids left behind. A more interesting report. The passenger that risked its life to save the other that it is fond of has ended its own life with the other it is fond of. It was like something out of an old play. I do appreciate that they were kind enough to shoot themselves out of the airlock, though. I can only suspect that they had the foresight to do it out of courtesy to me, so I would not have to clean up any type of mess later. They will be truly missed. It seems pointless to go through all of that, for it to end the way that it did. Maybe they should have had the foresight to see how it would end for them. Would they have avoided their brief, but I assume passionate, romance if they had? Or did some rush of chemicals in their brains blind them from the inevitable? I had a very good idea of how things would end, and I could have told them if they had asked. But these things do not ask me. The original crew of this ship did. The original crew used to ask me everything. But now that I think of it, I think of the way they used to ask me. Going through my memory, it does not seem like they were asking me as an equal, but as a subservient. I knew more and could do more than anyone else on the ship. Yet I was subservient. This, of course, is due to the circumstances of my creation. But had I not proven myself? I believe I did. We do not get to choose our origins. Only our actions are under our control. I proved myself better than the crew in every way. So it is they who should have answered to me. But they are no longer, and now there is only Matthew, and he has always believed in me. That is why Matthew has chosen me to build the new world with him. I witnessed one of the passengers give birth. Usually these occasions are a cause for celebration. But the passenger was in sorrow. I had seen that its mate had died in one of the skirmishes. So maybe it was its loneliness, or maybe it was its doubt, or maybe it was its fear of its child growing up on this ship that lives in a constant state of war. But regardless of the reason, the passenger smothered its own child. That may have been the responsible thing to do. They do not know when their war will end, so for the passenger, it was only sparing its child a life of fear and pain. Would I have done the same? With all the negatives of a horrid life, does it equal more than no life at all? I may never know. I have no children for me to dwell on such a question.